coming. Natalie, good morning.
Good morning, Trinny. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. Well, it's such an auto response. I'm really well, thank you. So English. But I did lots of walking on the weekend. I did about 2 or 3 hours up and down Scottish mountains. But even before I went, Natalie, my knees and my hips weren't working. I think it's my hormone levels. I mean, I think I'm taking nothing to support my hormones. So it is that, but it means today I can't do anything at all difficult because I just need to get back in gently. But I really like to start with 1 minute of laughter therapy.
Okay. Well, I was actually talking about this laughter therapy with my mum last night.
Yeah, you were. Good.
And she told me that I did not laugh hard enough when we did it last time.
Okay, fine. That's brilliant. So we're going to, because we know how hard you can laugh. So that's fantastic. So everybody who's new to this is something I told Natalie, and it was passed on to me by the delightful Katie Brindle. All right. And the purpose is that when we laugh, we release tremendous levels of endorphins. So you can be sitting in a chair if you want to. If it's easier for you. Maybe you're sitting on the sofa now. Just sit, okay? And then when it really gets to you, you can stand up. And because what's going to happen is you're going to feel you can't take in all the air, but just take a deep breath and then start again. And I'm not going to time it, so I'm just going to guess with it. So when the clock turns here, I'll know that we can do it. 1 second. It's 8:11. We'll have done this by 8:12 and a half because I don't know how far that. Well, actually, when it goes to 8:12, we're going to start, okay? And just keep laughing with us. You might feel forced, but you've just got to go with it. And when you go with it, it'll make you feel good. Oh God, it's 8:30. Anyway, you get the general gist. And that's
good for the stomach, that one.
It's good for everything, Natalie, you know, because what it does, now I feel a bit woken up. It releases those endorphins and it just gives your body that flush through. It's like putting your body, I think, through a washing machine and flushing it out. But darling, I feel I've got to start with, I'm so stiff everywhere. I don't know if we can sit down and start with the knee.
Yeah, let's sit down and start with stretching out the neck, and we'll just work our way from top to bottom.
Perfect, okay. So to those of you sitting down still, very convenient.
Yeah, you can stay seated.
Yeah. This is the granny exercise morning routine, okay?
It's not a granny exercise, actually.
We're going to be on the teenager morning routine.
Okay. Everyone should be doing this. Young, old, medium. Okay, so we're going to start off. Just roll back the shoulders a couple of times, just so you're getting in a little bit of movement into that shoulder joint area. And then what I want you to do is sit on your left hand. So you're going to take a seat on your left hand and tilt your right ear to your right shoulder. Then you're going to get your right hand and place it on the left side of your head and just let your arm, the weight of your arm, anchor your head down. So you feel that you're lengthening out the neck. And if you already feel quite a big stretch there, stay as you are. Or you can start to lean very gently, but make sure you stay seated on that hand away from that left side. So you're going to lean over to the right, and then you start to gently lengthen out the upper trapezius a little bit more. It must have been very therapeutic to be in the Scottish Highlands.
It was, and it was lovely. The air was beautiful, and the water was so soft, and the scenery was exquisite. But I think I was with two women who I call billy goats, and they're older than me, and they just clambered up that mountain, and I just thought, let me try and do it too. And I think that wasn't great. But I was feeling a bit before, so I know that they're just achy. I'm just achy. I can't wait for those hormones to come, actually.
Yeah. So you're now going to look down towards your left pocket, and then very gently pull your right pocket, and very gently pull the back of your head. Yeah, it's hormones have a lot to answer for, don't they? But it's a catch-22 as a woman, because obviously the older you get, the more important it is to do strength-based exercises for your bone health.
And just stretching, just to get out of bed and not feel stiff anymore, is like
because every day, again, your fascia gets tighter and more dehydrated. So when that happens, you feel so much more stiff. You're going to come back to the center, and you're going to sit on your right hand and tilt your left ear to your left shoulder. Then you can take your left hand and just gently hook it over the right side of your head. And you're going to hold on. And then you can gently rock over to the left side so that you are creating more of an elongation through the trapezius on the right side. And work with the breath as well. So let this be an opportunity to really use your breath in a meditative way. And it's going to help you stretch a little bit further as well. So as you exhale, that's when you can lean just a little bit more. Make sure you're not pulling on your head. You just want to be using your body weight very gently. Then come back to the center, and you're going to look down towards your left pocket. Take hold of the back of your head. And you can start to lean at a diagonal here. And if it feels like you're getting more of a stretch to reach under your chair, then you can do, and start to lean away from there. What you just want to encourage is a slightly deeper stretch. Then come back to the center, and you're going to take hold of the base of your neck. And I want you to look up towards the right corner of the room. And what you do here is you pin the fascia down at the front. So because that's pinned down, these muscles can stretch a little bit more. So you're encouraging that deeper stretch. So you're pinning it down. And I want you to tilt your head back and look up at a diagonal. I'm just going to, you can move with this, and you can bring your head down a little bit very slowly, and then bring your head back up to look at the corner of the room. Make sure those shoulders are rolled back. Good, and you keep going, looking up. And if you're really tight, a lot of people, if you're looking down a lot at your phones, these muscles get really ropey, and they give you that sort of forward head posture. So you want to spend some time stretching them out. And also, we'll move on to the jaw in a second as well, because that can get really tight too. Then you're going to bring your head down slowly, and then look up towards the opposite corner. Still pinning that fascia down. And again, think about your breathing. So you're really focused on filling your lungs, fill them to the very bottom, and then as you exhale, you can go a little deeper into the stretch. Then slowly come back down to the center. And I want you to pinpoint the area on your jaw. You're going to bring sort of just 2 centimeters down from your ears, and you're going to start to go for little circles. And it's amazing how many people actually clench their teeth when they sleep, because it's a way at which a lot of people hold stress in their jaw. And you just sort of push in quite hard and go for little circles, and it gives such release all through the neck and the shoulders, everything. You can really, and you just you find little areas along your jawline where the muscles are quite tight, because a lot of muscles insert into that jawline, and go for little circles. Keep going for little circles, and if you find a point that's really uncomfortable, you can push into it and hold. And just taking some deep breaths there because it can be quite painful, especially where any tight muscle, it can be quite painful if you've got a lot of tension there. And now what you're going to do is come down to your collarbone area, and I want you to take your right hand and push it into just above the collarbone. So just above the collarbone, a bit halfway between the start of your clavicle and the end. So the knobbly bit on your shoulder and the start, you're going back halfway closer towards the shoulder. And you're going to go find your traps and then lower the fingers to just above the shoulder blade, not shoulder blade, the clavicle, and push in. And then I want you to take a deep breath in, and you exhale, turn your head. And you'll know you found the right point. You might need to play around with it a little bit, because all of a sudden you will feel like you're getting a nice stretch and there's a lot of tightness. So it could be you find that you've got a bit of soreness in the trap, so you're going to follow that down, push in, and turn your head. And then you can sometimes feel it in the back of your neck as well. But if you haven't got any tightness, then that's great. And always work with that out breath. So as you turn your head, it's an exhale. One more time. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So you're going to find that area, usually halfway or just, yeah, get some water. And then you turn your head in the opposite direction. You may, if you're really tight, it's like you're going to feel it into the insertion point of the base of your skull. There's a lot of muscles there. They get really tight. So we're going back, going into this other side. Shoulders are set back. And you need to repin the muscle every time. So you push in quite hard, and you will feel it usually around here as you rotate the head. Then come back to the center. And you're going to bring your hands to either at the base of your neck. Just you're going to find go up towards your skull, so the base of your skull, and either side of your cervical spine, and go for little circles. You can try and just play around, and these are your occipital muscles. They get really, really tight and can cause a lot of tightness through the traps. And I often, if you've got a foam roller at home, just lying on a foam roller and pushing into it is really good. And physios, if you have struggle with neck pain, physios often release these muscles because it just gives so much release for the whole neck. And you'll know when you find the area because it feels really uncomfortable. So you just have to play around with it a little bit. And again, take in deep breaths. It's tempting to hold your breath when you're releasing muscles. And then you're going to stop there. Just roll the shoulders back. And we're going to do a little bit of an assessment where you tilt your left ear to your left shoulder. And then you're going to very slowly circle your head around, really slowly. And then come back to the center. And then I want you to lean forwards and take hold of the back of your head. And just so you're interlinking your fingers. You bring your chin to your chest and you just let your neck elongate. And if you're really tight through your back, maybe even in your hip flexors and your lower back muscles, you're going to feel this because you're very gently decompressing the spine, especially the cervical spine at the top and then the thoracic spine, which is the middle of your back. You're creating a tiny bit of space between the vertebrae and giving those muscles a gentle stretch.
See, I can't even move my elbows down because it would be too much of a stretch.
Yeah, so and if you feel too much of a stretch, come out of it a little bit And just focus, sometimes just breathe, taking deep breaths is going to be a way of stretching, because if you think about it, your rib cage is expanding, so therefore your muscles are going to have to expand as well, which gives you a nice gentle stretch. And you hold there for a few seconds. If you start to feel uncomfortable, you can come out of it a little bit, or let your arms hang down. And then you keep holding. And then take a really deep breath in. As you exhale, very slowly stack up so you don't get a head rush. And then roll those shoulders back a couple of times. Okay, and you're going to come off your chair and we'll take things down to the mat now. Okay, so if you do a band or something, that's quite helpful, or without a band, it's fine. You're going to lie on your back.
Are we going to get a band? I might need a band.
Yeah, you can get if you want, you can get a long band just to help with the stretch. Okay, Trinny, we're going to start off actually with just a little bit of back mobility. So you're going to lie on your side and we're going to come into that open book stretch. So you're lying down on your side, you're going to bring your, if you're lying on your right side, you'll bring your left arm back and then you bring it forwards. If you have a cushion to hand, sometimes it's nicer just to put your head on a cushion so that your head stays level with the rest of your spine. And you want to keep your knees stacked as well. So your knees stay stacked, because if you start to bring that top leg back, you're not going to get an accurate rotation for your spine. Take a deep breath in and exhale, reach back. And this one gives you a really nice stretch through the chest as well. So this is just gently starting to mobilize the back. And now you need to reach up and over your head, so you're getting in the full range of movement for your shoulder, but you're also encouraging a deeper stretch for your chest muscles. Actually, on Thursday, Trinny, I'm doing a live Instagram with my friend who's a physio, and we're talking all about neck pain.
Great.
Neck tension. And how you can relieve it. Because it's so common. You've got one more. Reach that arm right back. Look towards that hand. And you're going to hold here, taking in 3 deep breaths. Then as you inhale, you relax from that stretch. As you exhale, try and push yourself into the stretch just a little bit more. You can actually take, if you're on your right side, you take your right hand and place it on top of your left knee. If you're on your left side, you're going to take your left hand and place it on top of your right knee, just to help anchor you down a little bit to deepen the stretch. On your next out breath, I want you to bring that arm back up and over, and you're going to lie on your back, and then you're going to turn to do the same on the other side. So you're going to lie on the opposite side and do exactly the same thing. Deep breath in, and then exhale. You reach right back with that right arm. And then inhale, bring that arm back over. And exhale, reach back. And again, making sure that that knee that's on top is not sliding back as you bring the arm back. You want to try and keep it level. Even if you don't get your arm down too far, don't worry about it. You're going to increase that mobility every time you do this. Now create that semicircle above your head. So we're encouraging some flexibility through the chest and mobility through the shoulder joint. You've got one more. You reach back and hold. You can take your left hand and place it on your right knee if you're lying on your left side, or vice versa, and look towards that arm that is stretched out. Taking in deep breaths. On your next out breath, you bring that arm back up and over your head. And you're going to lie on your back. I want you to bring your knees into your chest. Give your knees a little bit of a hug. Rock from side to side. And then you can get that band or Pilates ring, whatever you have. And you're going to hook it over your right foot. So just the ball of the foot or the center of the foot. And you take a deep breath in, bend the knee. Exhale, extend the leg. If you've been doing lots of walking up and down those hills, probably your calves are feeling a little bit tight today. Calves and quads. And you want to push the heel towards the ceiling. Going for another 3. Go for 2. And 1 more, you're going to extend. So you're holding.
We're going to do what, darling?
That leg nice and straight. Keep drawing the toes towards you. And completely relax. And if you need to, you can slightly bend the knee as well. That's fine. You might get into the hamstrings a little bit more then, as opposed to the calf muscles. So, holding for another 5, for 3, 2, extend that leg and hold it straight again. Take hold of the band in your left hand. So if that's your right leg in the air, you're holding the band in your left hand. You're going to keep your hips perfectly on the mat, so they're nice and heavy, and then pull the leg slightly over towards your left shoulder. Keep the foot flexed. And if you're quite tight through the IT band, or you're going to feel a stretch around the knee, maybe even in the knee, or you're going to feel a deeper stretch in your hamstrings and your calf muscles. You can slightly bend the knee here as well, that's fine too. And you want to pull it sort of towards the opposite shoulder. Good, holding for another 6, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to the center. You're going to switch sides now. So that other foot is going to go in the band. That left foot. You take a deep breath in, slightly bend the knee, and then exhale, extend the leg, pushing the heel up towards the sky. And it's very gentle. You shouldn't feel pain when you're stretching. You should feel like you're getting a nice stretch, but you're not forcing the stretch. Good. Going for another 5 repetitions. And again, focusing on that out breath as you extend the leg. Good, you're going to extend and hold your leg straight now. And then I want you to take hold of that band in your right hand. Keep the hips central and pull the leg slightly across the body towards your right shoulder. And you can have a slight bend in the knee. Taking some really deep breaths. So. Holding for another 5, for for 3, 2, and bring your leg back to the center. Good. Take your foot out of the band. You're going to go into the happy baby pose, which feels nice around the hips and the lower back. So I want you to have your elbows on the inside of your knees, and you're going to grab hold of the outside of your feet. And then you're going to lift your feet up towards the sky and bring them apart a little bit. So your legs are pretty much at 90 degrees. That's it. And this helps to really stretch out the muscles around the hips. Good. And then if you want to deepen the stretch, you can slightly extend one leg and then extend the other leg. And this gives you a nice stretch actually for the outer hamstrings. So you can try and straighten one leg a little bit, then straighten the other leg. Even just a tiny bit, and you'll feel the intensity of the stretch. Good. And holding the stretch for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, you can come out of that stretch, and we're actually going to stretch the piriformis and the glute medius, so the muscles directly, those hip stabilizing muscles. And you're going to do this with one foot against a wall or your door or your glass door there. So you're lying on your back. We've done this one quite a few times because that foot is going to anchor you down, so you cross the opposite ankle over the knee. And then what I've got to do, as soon as you're in that position, is so you're lying down on your back, your ankle is crossed over your knee, and your left, so put your left foot up against the wall or the door. And your leg is bent. Then you cross your right ankle over your left knee, so you create a figure 4 shape. Then take hold of your right leg, so your right thigh, both hands, and think about pulling it sort of out of the socket, so you're creating that decompression.
Pulling my leg out of the socket.
So rather than pulling it towards you, sorry, you're pushing it down a little bit, away from your torso, and at the same time, you think about taking it away from the hip socket. So your hands are on the top of your thigh, or so it's going to be like the inner thigh, if you like, and then you're going to gently push that leg down. So you feel that you're decompressing that thigh bone away from your hip. And then if you start to deepen the stretch, then you can lift your left heel. So the foot that is on the door or the window, you can lift the heel, and then you're going to feel a slightly deeper stretch around that hip. Good, and just keep holding and taking in nice deep breaths. That's it. And make sure that you're not allowing the right hip to lift off the ground too much. Keep them very central. And that way, you're going to feel the stretch a little bit more, because otherwise you're sort of giving in to the tight side, which you don't want to do. And then when it starts to ease off and feel a bit more comfortable, you can move a little closer to the door. And that way you're going to deepen the stretch. And then let's switch to do, that's it actually. So you're holding that stretch for a little bit longer. Let's hold for another 10 seconds. And then you can switch to do the same on the other side. Good. And now let's switch sides. So you're going to cross that other ankle over. Good. And you can very gently almost pull on that leg, or sort of, so you're pulling it away from the hip socket, press the leg down towards the window. And that often feels like a nice release. It's not necessarily a stretch around the hip, it's a decompression. Good, holding here for another few seconds, and then you can see if you can deepen that stretch by moving just a little bit closer to that window. Okay, so now you're going to uncross that ankle, and you're going to come into your cat dog stretch. So your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips, and you can flex and extend your spine. And you should feel a little bit more loosened up through the back. And then we'll go into your hip flexor stretch. So you're flexing and extending. Really tucking that tailbone under, that's it. One more time, you flex, come to your neutral spine, and then bring your right foot forwards. And if this is tricky to get into right now, Trinny, you can come back to standing, and then start in a split stance. That's it. Right. So your right foot is forwards, your left knee is down on the mat, and you're going to reach your left arm up. Take hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Hips are tucked, and your left glute is engaged. So you're squeezing your left butt cheek to help keep the hips tucked in. And you can very gently pull on that wrist. Good. So you're creating that elongation through the front of the hip. You can push your hips forwards a little bit as well. And just lean. And then rotate the body a tiny bit too. And this is also going to stretch out the lats. Those big back muscles which insert into many places along the back, especially into that lower back. And if they're really tight, it can cause a bit of a achy lower back. Come back to the center, and you're going to switch to do the same on the other side. And if this is uncomfortable on your knees, just fold the mat over or put the cushion underneath your knee. And now you're going to reach that right arm into the air, and then lean over to your left. And again, tucking the hips in, engaging that right buttock, and you keep pulling on that wrist, and then you can start to rotate the body just a little bit so you feel a deeper stretch. Good, holding for another 10 seconds, rotating a little bit more, pulling a little bit more on that arm, and maybe pushing your hips forwards a tiny bit. Good, then you're going to come back to the center. And you can sit on your cushion for this. We're going to stretch out the lower back, those QL muscles. So you can either sit on your cushion or just sit cross-legged on your mat. If you're feeling a bit tight, maybe sitting on a cushion is a better idea for today. And I want you to, so you're sat cross-legged, you're going to reach your left arm up towards the sky, and then you're going to draw a circle reaching forwards. That right arm is going to follow, so you're creating that semicircle. Then place your left hand on the ground, then reach up and over with that right arm. And these lower back muscles. So you're literally drawing a circle up, you start to follow with the other arm, and it's about here you'll feel the stretch.
This is where I can hard move.
Sorry?
It's just where I can hardly move my back.
Yeah, so you're very stiff in that lower back area. So just take your time with it, Trinny, and actually bring a tiny bit of movement in. It's going to be really good for those muscles. Very slowly, because if you've been doing a lot of walking and your spine is kind of like this, naturally slightly lordotic, you're going to be putting a lot of pressure. They're creating a shortening of those lower back muscles. And this is now stretching them out. Good, and again, walking those hands around. And sometimes just, if you're really tight around the hips, just sitting cross-legged can be very uncomfortable. Good, and if you feel like you need to hold the stretch anywhere, then just reach and hold, relax into it. Good. One more time, you're going to reach around, and then I want you to interlink your fingers behind your back. So you have to sit up. That's it, and then interlink your fingers behind your back and squeeze your shoulder blades together. So you're getting in almost a thoracic extension there. You're squeezing, you're opening up the chest, and taking a really deep breath. So you're expanding your ribs. That's it. And then exhale, release, roll those shoulders back a couple of times. Now, in this position, if you're a little bit stiff, you're just going to uncross one leg, uncross the other, turn onto your hands, and slowly start to push yourself up off the ground. And then that should prevent you from putting too much pressure on your knees, because it can be a little bit uncomfortable otherwise.
I'm just going to get some water.
Yes. Grab some water. And then we'll do some leg swings. So if you'll need a chair for this or your wall, and we'll do some leg swings.
Okay. What are we doing next, darling?
Just a couple of leg swings, and then we'll do a Pilates roll down and set the posture, and you'll be ready for the day. So you can hold on to the chair, hand to the side, and just swing your leg very gently across the body. You want to let that leg go completely heavy, so that you're decompressing, you're creating space in that hip joint. That's it. Going for another 3, 2, 1 more, and then you can switch sides. So you can turn around, or if you've got the room, just switch to the same on the other side. And it always feels good just to loosen up those hips.
Yeah.
Last one. And then stand next to your chair. You're going to reach your arms up to the sky and take a deep breath in. And I want you to take hold of your right wrist with your left hand, and you're going to lean over to the left. So you're getting in a really nice stretch for the side of the body. And then you're going to very slowly roll around so you end up on the other side. You're going to take hold of the opposite wrist and lean. So you're getting a lateral flexion of the spine. Then I want you to roll down and get all the way to the ground. Let your arms hang. You can take hold of your elbows, let your head hang between the elbows. Knees are slightly soft. And allow yourself to completely relax. Think about the ground absorbing any tension that you have in your body. Then let those arms hang. So your upper body, think of it like a rag doll. And you're going to rock very gently from side to side. And it's good actually to get a little bit of blood flow to the head. It's going to wake you up. Then I want you to shrug off those shoulders. Stop in the center, shake off the head. Make sure you're feeling nice and loose. Take hold of the back of the head. Just see if you've got any tightness there again. Very gently pulling your head down. Then let those arms hang down again. You're going to take a really deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to really slowly stack up vertebra by vertebra. Then you start to reach the arms up towards the sky. That's it. And reach the arms up. Then I want you to turn the palms out. Pull the shoulders back, bring the elbows down. So you're activating your back muscles and elongating the neck. Hips are tucked in, arms come down. Roll the shoulders back, set them down. So you've set your posture up for the day, power posture, and you should be feeling a lot more mobile and
I'm going to sit and enjoy my mobility. But I do, Natalie, I just feel I can move, which is like a miracle. I think now any sudden movements, like I was literally getting up from a chair and I felt my low back go, I can't bear that lack of control on my body. And I know it's not lack of control, Natalie, but it's just, I really feel just more fluid. I'm more fluid.
Yeah, you've prepped your muscles for the day. They're nice and warmed up.
And I just feel like, sometimes you have to hit a bit of a rock bottom to realize things. So I know that by being back on hormones, I know I need to take a lot of joint mobility supplements, some glycosamine, some bromide. I know that if I want to push my body, age 56, I've got to support my body. That's the thing, Yeah, so I won't be going up the mountain like a billy goat anytime soon again. But when I do, and I will, I'll have the right support inside my body to do it. That's the key, really, isn't it? Always, let me bring you up here. Always having the right support.
I always think that if your body's like a Ferrari, you're not going to put diesel in a Ferrari, are you? You're going to give it
You're
the best
sure
fuel.
not. I don't know if I'd want to be a Ferrari, though. I think I'd want to be an Aston Martin. Or, or a really old gull-wing Mercedes.
Yes, okay. That's your car, Trinny. I like an Aston as well.
All right, darling. Okay.
Have a great Monday.
You too. Bye.